My name is Shen Wei. I am 32 years old and Omega. For 7 years I have been married to a man I did not choose. For 7 years I have been sick. For 7 years I have been obedient. Last Tuesday in my office my system sent me a notification. Threat detected. Lu Feng. Recommended action eliminate. Lu Feng is my husband. The notification had a button. Red, labeled execute. I did not press it, but I also did not delete it. For 3 days it sat at the bottom of my interface like a half-open door. What I did not know, until that moment, was how many other notifications I had already accepted. But to understand that moment, you need to understand who I was before the system installed itself in my head. I was a nobody. 25 years old, working a desk job I hated, scrolling through a web novel at 2 in the morning. It was bad. Political drama, ABO stereotypes, an Omega protagonist so fragile he coughed blood every other chapter. The comments section hated him. Too weak. Why does he let his alpha walk all over him? Trash character, I agreed. I wrote a comment myself. If I were that Omega, I'd tear the system apart. The irony has not escaped me. I woke up in his bed, in his body, in his marriage. The novel's sickly Omega now had my name, my face, and a system interface floating in my peripheral vision. Welcome, host Shen Wei. You have been selected for the possessive tyrant program. I was confused. I was an Omega. The novel's Omega was a victim. What kind of tyrant program? Objective, secure political dominance through strategic ruthlessness. Reward, survival, penalty, system termination, not death, termination. As if I were a program myself. That was 3 years after my transmigration. The first 3 years I thought I could be different, kind, soft, the kind of Omega who earned love through gentleness. It did not work. Let me tell you about my marriage. Lu Feng is an alpha, a general, the kind of man who walks into a room and the temperature drops. He married me for political alliance. I was the minister's son, useful, quiet, compliant. He never touched me, not once. We shared a house, a dining table, a bed in the technical sense, but the marriage was cold. He spoke to me in commands. I answered in agreements. We passed each other in hallways like two strangers who had made a mistake at the same address. I thought that was the worst part. I was wrong. The system activated during year 4. It started small. A notification here, a suggestion there. Omega, your husband does not respect you. Correct this behavior. Withhold access to your space. Remind him of your status. I ignored it. The first time, then my suppressant prescription ran out. He did not notice. I spent 3 days in low-grade heat, feverish, alone while he attended military briefings. The system sent another notification. He does not protect what is his. You must protect yourself. That one I accepted. I started small. I locked my study. I stopped eating at the family table. I answered his questions in monosyllables. He noticed. Of course he noticed. An Omega withdrawing from his alpha is a crack in the foundation of every political household. What is wrong with you? He asked one evening. I had a response ready. The system had written it for me. Nothing, General. I am merely ensuring our arrangement remains professional. The word arrangement landed like a slap. I saw it hit his face, a flicker of something I did not name. He said nothing. He left. I felt powerful. I also felt nothing. The system said that was normal. For 3 more years, this was my life. I followed the system's commands. I became cold, precise, untouchable. The sickly Omega transformed into something harder and the political world adjusted. They respected me now, feared me even. Lu Feng and I became a perfect political couple in public, cold in private. He stopped asking questions. I stopped hoping he would. But here is what I did not tell anyone. The system did not just control my actions, it controlled my scent. Every Omega has natural pheromones, soft, warm, signaling receptiveness. The system suppressed mine completely. I smelled like neutral air, like nothing. An Omega who cannot be scented, cannot be tracked, cannot be followed. Cannot be. I stopped that thought before it finished. I left the lamp on. Every night, the small lamp in the study, the one with the cracked shade. A small rebellion against a marriage that had none. Lu Feng used to turn it off. Years ago, he would pass through, see it burning, and kill the switch. He stopped doing that too. If you have ever stood in a room and realized you were the person causing the silence, you already know what I saw in his face those last months. He did not look at me with anger. He looked at me with confusion, like he had woken up one day and found a stranger in his house wearing his spouse's face. He was not wrong, but I could not tell him. Last Tuesday, the office, the notification, threat detected Lu Feng. Recommended action eliminate. I stared at it for a long time. The system had flagged him as a threat. My husband, the man who married me for politics, who never touched me, who let me freeze in our own bed. But also the man who used to turn off the lamp. I did not press the button. I closed the interface and went to a meeting. I signed documents. I approved budget allocations. I smiled at officials. The notification stayed. That night I sat in my study. The lamp was on. I had my hand on the notification button, eliminate. It did not mean kill. The system's language was surgical. Eliminate meant neutralize. Remove from the board. Eliminate from political relevance. It would not kill him. It would just remove him. I could do it. I had the power. My hand was shaking. That is when I heard his voice. Are you going to tell me what you're doing? I looked up. Lu Feng stood in the doorway. He had not stood in that doorway in months. He was in uniform, still wearing his boots like he had walked straight from the base. He looked tired. He always looked tired lately. You are working late, I said, not a question. So are you. He stepped inside, not far, just enough to close the distance between the door and the chair opposite my desk. You have been different, he said. I have been the same. No, you have been worse. I felt something cold move through my chest. The system was ready. It had a response queued. He is testing you. Respond with authority. I did not use it. Worse how? Lu Feng looked at me, really looked. Like he was trying to see through a wall I had built years ago. You used to leave notes, he said. On the kitchen counter. Reminders for the staff, you said, but they were for me. I remembered. I had stopped that. You used to laugh. When your father told those terrible jokes at dinner, you covered your mouth but you laughed. I remembered that too. You used to leave the lamp on. I opened my mouth, closed it. What happened to you, Shen Wei? The system was screaming now. Multiple notifications. Red text. He is probing. Shut this down now. Remind him of his place. I could feel it in my throat, the words waiting to be spoken. Cold, cruel, effective. I did not speak. Lu Feng waited. And I realized in that moment that I had a choice. I could follow the system. I could push him away, protect myself, secure my position. Every calculation the system made was correct. He was a threat. Not to my life, to the wall, or I could tell him. Standing in that study, lamp on, notification waiting, husband watching me like I was a stranger he was still trying to love, I chose. You asked what happened to me, I said. He nodded. Something installed itself in my head 3 years ago. It tells me what to do. It tells me what to say. My voice broke on the last word. It told me to eliminate you. The silence after that was not empty. It was full of everything I had not said for 7 years. Lu Feng did not move. Eliminate, he repeated. Neutralize, remove from relevance. It flagged you as a threat to my position. Am I? I laughed. It came out wrong, broken. You are the only thing in this house that ever made me feel like a person. And the system wants me to destroy you. If this story is finding you at the right moment, stay a little longer. There are more stories like this one. Lu Feng sat down, not in the chair, on the floor. He lowered himself to the ground like his legs had given out, an alpha general sitting on the floor of his Omega's study. Show me, he said. What? The system, show it to me. I hesitated. The system was mine, private. The only thing that belonged only to me, but I had already said the words. There was no taking them back. I pulled up the interface and turned the screen toward him. He saw the notification, the button, the red text. How long? He asked. 3 years. He read through the history, years of commands, each one I had followed, each one that had turned me colder. He was quiet for a long time, then he said, You were not cruel because you wanted to be. No, you were cruel because something made you. Yes, he looked at me, and I saw something I had not seen in years. He was angry, but not at me. I did not notice, he said. It was not an excuse, it was a wound. You were not supposed to. That makes it worse. We sat in silence. The lamp burned. The notification stayed open on my screen. I do not know how to stop it, I said, then we figure it out together. Lu Feng. What? I have a child. The words came out before I could stop them. I had not planned to say this, not tonight, not ever, but the wall was already down and the truth was already bleeding through. He went still. What? I have a child from before the system, before I stopped. He is 3 years old. He lives with my mother. I visit him once a month. The system does not know. Lu Feng's scent changed. For the first time in years I could smell him. Smoke, cedar, shock. You have a son. Yes. And you hid him. From everyone, if the system knew it would use him, if the political house knew they would take him, if you knew, I would have protected him. Would you have? The question hung between us. Honest, brutal, he did not answer, because neither of us knew if it was true. 3 days later. A different house. The same problem. I stood in my mother's courtyard, watching a 3-year-old chase a garden cat through flower beds he was not supposed to touch. Xiao and my son, he had my eyes. He had Lu Feng's stubbornness. He was small and loud and absolutely unafraid of anything with claws. You are early, my mother said from the doorway. He knows. She did not ask who, she just nodded. My mother had always known more than I told her. He is asleep by 8, she said. He asks for his other parent, I tell him stories instead. What stories? The ones where you were happy. That landed somewhere deep. I did not respond. Xiao caught the cat. He held it up triumphantly, getting scratched in the process, and laughed. He was perfect. He was a secret. He was the end of everything if the wrong person found him. That evening I put him to bed myself. He was too wired to sleep. He squirmed under the blanket, kicked his feet, demanded a story about dragons. Your father is a general, I said. He fights dragons every day. Real ones. Political ones, they are worse. He did not understand. He fell asleep anyway, one hand clutching my sleeve. I sat there until his breathing evened out. Then I went downstairs and found Lu Feng standing in the garden. He had followed me. I did not know how long he had been there, long enough to see the house, the courtyard, the cat. He was not looking at me. He was looking at the second-floor window where the light was still on. That room, he said, not a question. Yes. Is he yours? The word hit him visibly. He took it like a blow. How long have you? 3 years. He was conceived before the system. I did not know until after it activated. By then, I stopped. By then, I could not tell you. He turned to face me. The garden light caught his face. He looked older than I remembered. 3 years, he said. Yes. I have a son for 3 years and you did not. The system would have taken him, used him, made him a weapon against me, against you. My voice was steady. I had rehearsed this. I protected him the only way I could. By hiding him. Yes, from me. Especially from you. He did not argue. He stood there, hands at his sides, and took it. That was the moment I understood something about Lu Feng. He was not angry at me. He was angry at the situation. There is a difference. One is a weapon, the other is grief. I want to see him, he said. Not tonight. When? When I trust the system not to use it against us. He nodded slowly, a general accepting a tactical delay. Then we fix the system first. How? I do not know yet, but I am starting. He told me what he had done while I was away. He had called in favors, old military contacts. A beta doctor who specialized in neurological suppression, a researcher who had studied government control systems before they were classified. The system is not magic, he said. It is technology. If it can be installed, it can be removed. You sound confident. I sound desperate. There is a difference. I almost smiled. I did not. There is a catch, he said. There is always a catch. The removal requires a full system override. That means rut levels of adrenaline. Your body will think it is dying. He paused. You will need an alpha present, one bonded to you. Our bond, the one that had never fully formed because I had never let him close enough. The bond broke, I said. When I withdrew, it never healed. No, but it is still there, faint. The doctor said it might be enough. Might. It is the only option we have. We stood in the garden for a long time. The lamp in Xiao's room went out, my mother turning it off. Your scent is different, Lu Feng said. The system suppresses it. Not tonight. He was right. I could feel it. The system was flickering, fighting something, maybe the distance from the notification I had not pressed, maybe the proximity to my son, maybe the bond I had denied for 3 years. "I can smell you," he said. "What do you smell?" He took a step closer. Then stopped. Fear and something else. What else? I do not know the word for it, but it is not fear. I should tell you what happened next, but first you need to understand what that night cost. The system did not sleep, it monitored, it calculated. When I returned to the estate, there was a new notification waiting. Host Shen Wei. Unauthorized disclosure detected. Corrective measures required. Penalty bond destabilization. Initiate in 12 hours. I had 12 hours before the system punished me for telling the truth. I found Lu Feng in the study. He was on the phone with someone, his beta contact, discussing override protocols. He glanced at me, finished the call, and turned. "You look pale." "The system knows." "Knows what?" "Everything." I told him about the notification, the 12-hour countdown, the bond destabilization, the fact that I would probably not survive a forced bond severance without. I stopped. "Without what?" I did not want to say it. "Without you." The system's plan was elegant. A bond destabilization forced by the system would simulate a broken bond at the neurological level. My body would react as if Lu Feng had rejected me. My omega biology would interpret it as abandonment. If I was lucky, I would go into shock. If I was not, I would go into heat. Alone, unprepared. An omega in forced heat without his alpha does not survive. The system knew that. 12 hours, Lu Feng said. 11 now. Then we do it now. Do what? The override before the system finishes its countdown. The doctor said it required rut levels. I know. Are you in rut? He looked at me. His eyes were dark. Controlled, but I could see the edge. I will be. He left the room. I stood alone, listening to the clock on the wall. 11 hours left. I sat down at the desk. The lamp was on. I had left it on before I left. I did not turn it off. The hours passed. I moved through the motions. I signed documents. I answered calls. I attended a meeting I did not remember. At hour 6, I went to the kitchen for water and found Lu Feng's jacket draped over a chair. He was not in it, but he had been there. The scent was faint. Cedar, smoke, a memory of something warm. I did not move the jacket. At hour 4, I felt the first symptom, a tremor in my hands. My suppressants were failing. The system was accelerating the countdown. I sat down before I fell. At hour 2, Lu Feng returned. He looked different. His pupils were dilated. His scent was stronger. He was holding a case, medical equipment from the look of it. It is ready, he said. Are you? I have to be. I asked if you were ready. Not if you had to be. He set the case down. He looked at me. No, he said. I am terrified. Good, so am I. For the first time that night, something like understanding passed between us. The room was small, a medical room in the basement of the estate, sterile, cold. The doctor had set it up in advance. Lu Feng closed the door. Last chance, he said. To do what? To walk away, find another way. There is no other way. There is always another way. The system might not kill you, it might just... Lu Feng. He stopped. I am tired of surviving, I said. I want to live. The difference took him a moment, then he opened the case. The override had 2 stages. Stage 1 was chemical, an injection that would destabilize the bond enough to trick the system into thinking it had already succeeded. Stage 2 was biological, his rut, triggered by the bond destabilization, forcing a rebond. If it worked, the system would be overwritten. If it did not, both of us would be in forced cycles with no exit. How long does the injection take to work? I asked. 30 seconds. And then, he did not answer, Lu Feng. Then I will not be able to control myself. I had known since he said the plan, but hearing it was different. An alpha in forced rut does not ask permission, he takes. It is biological law, unless the bond rejects it, unless I rejected him. You have to mean it, I said. If you do not want to rebond, you have to, I know. We stood in the sterile room. 11 hours collapsed into seconds. Do you want to rebond? I asked, the question I had not asked in 3 years. He looked at me. Does it matter what I want? Yes. I have wanted to rebond since the day you stopped letting me touch you. That was when I understood. He had not been cold, he had been waiting, and Alpha cannot force a bond, the Omega must accept it. Every time I pushed him away, he could not fight, he could only step back. The coldness was not rejection. It was the shape of the space I had created. He had been living inside it. I crossed the room. Then do not wait anymore. The injection burned. 30 seconds, he had said. I counted. 1, 2, 3. The system screamed in my vision, red notifications flooding. 4, 5, 6. The bond destabilization began, a tearing sensation behind my ribs. 7, 8, 9, I could not breathe. 10. His scent changed, rut, true rut, the kind that stripped away control and left only instinct. He moved before I could speak, his hands on my arms pulling me forward. I am not going to hurt you, he said. It sounded like he was convincing himself. I know. You do not know, you have never seen me like this. I know you, he stopped, even after everything, especially after everything. The bond reformed in waves, pain first, the system fighting, then warmth. His scent filling the room, my lungs, my skin, then words he said in my ear that I will not repeat. Not because they were cruel, because they were true. The system flickered one last time, a notification, override detected. Requesting confirmation, I did not confirm. I closed the interface and I was free. We stayed on the floor for a long time, the medical room, cold tile, his arms around me. The bond was new, fragile. But it was there, warm and alive and real. Your son, he said, voice rough. What is his name? Zio-an, peace. Yes, he was quiet, then he said, I want to meet him. Tomorrow, not tonight. Tonight you need to sleep, so do I, he did not argue, but when I fell asleep I felt him shift, felt him turn to look at the door. An Alpha already protecting. The next morning I woke to the study lamp, still on. I had forgotten to turn it off. There was a new notification, not from the system, from Lu Feng, a message on the household interface. Breakfast is ready, Zio and is here. I did not bring him, someone else did. I read it twice, then I ran. Then words he said in my ear, not to me, to the bond, mine. The system screamed. Bond reformation in progress, unauthorized, terminate, red flooded my vision, error blocks, force commands. The system was fighting back, but Lu Feng did not stop. He held me, his arms locked around my back, his jaw tight against my shoulder, his scent everywhere. Mine, the second wave hit. The bond snapped into place, not gently, not slowly, all at once. Like a bone that had healed wrong, broken again, set properly, the pain was blinding. I felt everything. Every year of distance. Every cold night I had spent alone, every time he had stood in a doorway waiting for me to look back, and then I felt him, inside the bond, for the first time in 3 years. He was terrified, not of the system, not of failing, of me. I pulled back enough to see his face. I am not going anywhere, I said. You might after you feel it. Feel what? He did not answer, but I felt it anyway, a memory. His, not mine, the night before the system activated. The last night I had let him touch me, I had told him I loved him. He had said it back. And then I had woken up with the system in my head and I had never said it again. He had spent 3 years wondering if I meant it. I should have told him then. But the system had one last command. Host Shen Wei, bond reformation detected. Redirecting to protocol Omega-7, objective secure offspring, initiate heat cycle. No, I tried to push away. My body did not listen. The heat came like a wave. Hot, wrong, it was not natural, it was forced. My suppressants, my system, my biology, all of them turning on me at once. Lu Feng, get out. No, the system is forcing, I know. He did not move. He held me as the heat crested and I hated him for staying and I needed him for the same reason. The rut and heat collided. That was not supposed to happen. Rebonding was biological, controlled, a ritual. This was war. The system wanted the offspring protocol completed. It sent commands through my body. Every instinct screamed to pull him closer, but I had learned over 3 years to resist. I shoved him back. Don't. I am not. You will. I was shaking, my hands on his chest. He could have broken my grip in a second. He did not. I will not, he said. Look at me. I looked. Whatever the system makes you feel, I will not touch you until you say yes. He meant it. I could feel it in the bond. The override was not complete, but something had changed. Enough, I made a choice. I pulled him forward. Yes. What happened after that is not yours to know. It is ours. But I can tell you this, when it was over, the system was quiet. No notifications. No commands, no red warnings. I lay in his arms in a medical room that smelled like us, and I did not need to check the interface. I knew it was waiting. For me, the morning came like a stranger. I woke up alone. For a moment the old fear returned. He had left. He had seen what the system made me, and he had. Then I smelled coffee. He was in the doorway, holding a cup, looking at me like I was something he had almost lost. I did not know if you would stay, I said. I did not know if you would want me to. I asked you to. You were in heat. That does not count. Yes, it does. He did not argue. He walked over and handed me the coffee. You have a notification, he said. I checked the interface. Host Shen Wei. System update complete. Protocol Omega 7 terminated. New objective available. Family stability protocol. Accept. I stared at it. It is a trap, I said. Probably. But it is also an exit. Only if you take it. I looked at the notification. Accept. I pressed yes. The interface flickered, reconfigured. A new screen loaded. Family stability protocol active. Goal: maintain bond integrity. Penalty: system termination. Voluntary. Voluntary. They had never offered that before. Heat cycles will still occur, I said, reading the fine print. But not forced. I can choose when to suppress. So can you choose when not to? I looked at him. Yes. That afternoon we drove to my mother's house. Zio was in the garden again. Same cat, same flower beds. He looked up when the gate opened. He saw Lu Feng first. I watched him process. A stranger, tall, alpha. He hid behind my leg, gripping my trousers. Who is that? He whispered. I knelt down. That is your other parent, the one who fights dragons. He squinted at Lu Feng. Does he have a sword? No, he is the sword. Zio considered this. Then he stepped out from behind my leg. Do you want to see my cat? Lu Feng knelt down too, eye level with a 3-year-old who had his jaw, his eyes, his stubbornness. I would love to see your cat. They walked into the garden together. I watched from the doorway. My mother came up beside me. He stayed, she said. He did. And you? I watched my son drag my husband to the flower bed where the cat was hiding. I am learning, I said. That night we put Zio to bed together. It was awkward. 2 adults who had not parented together, learning in real time. Lu Feng held the book upside down. Zio corrected him. Lu Feng turned it right side up without comment. When the story was done, Zio was already asleep. We stood in the hallway. I should go, Lu Feng said. Where? I have a house, a job. He needs stability, not. He needs you, not stability. You, he stopped. I am not good at this. Neither am I, but we have a system now. It helps. A system that wanted to kill you. A system that learned, like we did. He looked at me for a long time. Will you stay? I asked. Where? Here, tonight, with us. He did not answer, but he did not leave. The guest room had a bed he did not use. He spent the night on the couch in the living room. I found him there in the morning, asleep, one arm over his face. His scent relaxed in a way I had not smelled in years. Zio was standing next to the couch, studying him. He is loud when he sleeps, my son said. He is learning. Can he stay? I looked at Lu Feng. His eyes were open. He had been awake the whole time. That depends on him. Lu Feng sat up slowly. Kid, he said, can I stay? Zio considered the question with the gravity of a 3-year-old making a life decision. Yes. But you have to feed the cat. Deal. I have no ending for this story. It is still happening. Every day, the system tracks our bond stability. The political enemies have not stopped circling. The world still wants to use us against each other. But I have a son who names the garden cats after military strategists. I have a husband who sleeps on the couch so he can hear if Zio has nightmares. I have a system that learned to ask instead of command, and I have something else. The echo of his voice across a bond that almost broke. Mine. I have learned that the word is not a cage, it is a promise. One we make to each other, every morning, every night. I am not a sickly Omega anymore. I am not a possessive tyrant either. I am just a man. Learning to let himself be held. The system gave me one final test. It came 3 weeks after the rebond. I had begun to trust the quiet, the morning routines, The sound of Xiao En's laughter in the garden, the weight of Lu Feng's hand on my shoulder when he passed my desk. I should have known better. A notification appeared, different this time. No red, no threat assessment, just words. Host Shen Wei. Family Stability Protocol audit required. Purpose, verify bond integrity through controlled stress scenario. Duration 72 hours. Warning, failure to maintain bond threshold will result in permanent system lock. No override available. Lu Feng read it over my shoulder. Controlled stress scenario, he said. That could mean anything. It means they want to see if we break. Will we? I thought about it. 3 weeks of learning each other again. 3 weeks of Xiao and asking questions I did not have answers to. 3 weeks of sleeping in the same bed but not quite touching. We survived the system trying to kill us, I said. We can survive an audit. The system had other plans. Day 1, I woke up to find my suppressants gone, the bottle empty. The pharmacy delivery delayed by a system error. My heat was due in 4 days. I called the pharmacy. They had no record of my order. I called the doctor. He was out of town. Lu Feng found me in the kitchen staring at the empty bottle. How long? 4 days. Maybe less if the audit accelerates it. Can you get more? Not in time. He did not panic. He nodded. He made coffee. Then we prepare, he said. Day 2. Xiao En woke up with a fever, not serious, a child's fever, the kind that passes, but his scent changed. Sick Omega pup. Vulnerable. I spent the morning holding him. Lu Feng called the pediatrician. The pediatrician was booked. System error, Lu Feng said when he hung up. They are isolating us. Yes, I held Xiao En tighter. His forehead was warm against my neck. Will they hurt him? No, you do not know that. I know I will not let them. He said it like a fact, like gravity. I believed him. Day 3, my heat arrived early. I woke up in the dark. Lu Feng was already awake. Watching me. Your scent changed, he said. I know. It is early. The audit, it is forcing it. I could feel the system pushing, not a command, a nudge, a reminder that it was still there, still watching. You do not have to do this alone, he said. I know. Do you want me to stay? I looked at him. The bond hummed between us, warm, steady. Yes. The heat was different this time, not forced, not the system's command. It was mine, my body, my choice. Lu Feng stayed. Every moment when I shook, he held me. When I needed space, he gave it. When I asked for him, he was already there. At the end, we lay in the dark. The audit timer was counting down, 3 hours left. Will it work? I asked. I do not know. What if it does not? Then we find another way. You sound certain. I am. Why? He turned his head to look at me. Because I spent 3 years waiting for you to come back. I am not going to lose you now. Day 4. The final hour. I sat in the living room. Xiao En was asleep in his room, fever gone. Lu Feng stood by the window watching the gate. The notification appeared. Audit complete. Processing results. We waited. Bond integrity threshold 94%. Protocol requirement 80%. Status pass. The interface flickered. Then it changed. Host Shen Wei, congratulations. Family Stability Protocol active, system restrictions reduced. You have earned autonomous control of your heat cycle. You have earned priority access to medical resources for your dependents. You have earned. I stopped reading. Lu Feng was looking at me. It worked, he said. Yes. You look surprised. I am. He crossed the room. He sat down next to me, his shoulder pressed against mine. We made it, he said. We made it. We sat there until the sun came up. The system did not interrupt. That was 6 months ago. I am writing this in my study. The left lamp is on, not because I am working late, because I like the light. Xiao En is asleep. Lu Feng is reading in the armchair across from me. He looks up occasionally, as if checking that I am still here. I always am. The system still sends notifications, less frequently now. I have learned which to accept and which to ignore. It is not perfect. Neither am I, but I am no longer sickly. I am no longer obedient. I am an Omega with a family, a system I control, and a husband who reaches for me in his sleep. I think that is enough. I transmigrated into a sickly political husband. My system made me a possessive tyrant, but somewhere along the way I became a man who knew what he wanted. And I am keeping it.